And the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals is teeing up a showdown with the Biden White House over the vaccine mandate. Here's One America's chief White House correspondent, Chanel Rion.
Joining us now is Louisiana's Attorney General, Jeff Landry. General Landry, thank you so much for joining us. You have had quite a week with the lower courts based in Louisiana, your state, ruling in favor of freezing that vaccine mandate out here in the Biden administration. Tell us about where that case is and why you think that freeze is justified.
I think it's a great signal from the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. The judges didn't take much time. I mean, it was in record time that they answered the stay, which we were seeking, because of the effects that it will have on America and certainly Louisiana as well, both job creators and employees as well. We have heard from thousands of people, both workers, both employers, and those, say husbands and wives of workers as well. This is, unprecedented that the government won't want to stand in between the workers and their doctors on a healthcare procedure. And if this is allowed to stand, it creates an extremely slippery slope as to where does it stop.
General Landry, there is a question about the scope of this ruling, and there's some question about whether or not the Fifth Circuit's ruling, or at least freeze, applies nationwide or it applies to just the 5 states that the Fifth Circuit covers. What is your take on that?
Yeah, I've seen that debate go back and forth in the press and amongst some legal scholars. I'll tell you that if you look at the order, I don't understand how anyone could define it as being confined to just the Fifth Circuit. I mean, the ability of OSHA to implement the rule would have to be nationwide. The irreparable harm is covered from coast to coast. I think that these judges swept with a broad brush. And what we're doing is we're hoping that that will be clarified in the coming days. Briefs have been flying back and forth between us and other plaintiffs and the government. We anticipate that the Fifth Circuit may give us an indication of a more permanent decision, hopefully before the weekend is up or shortly thereafter.
What is your response to the White House's, the DOJ and the DOL saying that businesses should simply ignore the Fifth Circuit's ruling here?
Well, it doesn't surprise me that the White House would say something as politically unresponsible as that. Certainly coming from the Department of Justice, I think that is extremely problematic. I mean, to go out and to openly defy a court's order, I think is problematic, certainly for those that are carrying a law license and wish to practice in court. Of course, it's something that we've seen is a pattern that's developing under this U.S. Attorney General, a basically outright defiance of the Constitution and the courts. And certainly it's problematic.
Has the state of Louisiana been able to join other cases beyond simply this request to freeze the mandate since last week?
Absolutely. I try to explain this as basically 3 buckets, right? And the question is whether the American people or a citizen of Louisiana fits in that bucket. The first bucket, if you want to take it, is the OSHA regulation that we filed suit on that is stayed right now, which covers employers with over 100 employees or companies with 100 employees. The second bucket would be federal contract workers or universities or organizations that receive federal funding. We've actually filed suit here in Louisiana and we're joined with a number of states on that case. We filed that suit actually the day before we filed on the OSHA regulation. And then there's a CMS bucket under which CMS issued a rule that said that any organization or agency that receives Medicare or Medicaid funding must have the same type of policy. We're looking to file that suit in short order.
Attorney General Jeff Landry out of Louisiana, thank you again so much for visiting with us today.
Thank you.